Let me finish up this segment by just telling you to hang out. And anyhow, so last week on the show, I mentioned that it had been a tough week in our house because Brenda's father, Floyd LeBlanc, died. So this has been a week ago Monday. He was just shy of his 89th birthday. But if you think that made for a heck of a week in our house, this past Saturday, my mom, Joan, who was 84, died in Palm Coast, Florida. So, it's one of those times when you just look back and you go, ooh, it was just a heck of a week. But I was lucky enough to have traveled a lot with my mom. And there's my mom, Joan. I'm not even sure where that's taken, but she grew up in New Jersey. She was a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania. And back in those days, for a woman to be a graduate of an Ivy League school was really something. She taught elementary school for a really long time, 4th and 5th grade, and just told stories. She said MTV drove her out of the business, and that's about when she retired. She ended up moving to Palm Coast, Florida. That's us in above Florence, Italy. We did a nice big trip there about 10 years ago. A lot of people in our family went. That's Perugia, Italy, and luckily we didn't see that hat too often after that. But my mom had a great sense of humor. We took a trip about 6 years ago. We went to Israel, and that's up over a city called Haifa. It was a fascinating trip to Israel for so many reasons, not the least of which was the cultural and the religious significance. But that's not why we went. We just went for the tourist part of it. That's on the sea, on the Mediterranean, and that was also on that trip. But you could just imagine that any woman putting up with me for all these years, what the patience she must have had. This is, again, that's in a place called Masada, and anybody who's ever been to Israel knows that area. And that we were taking selfies beforehand, and that's like one of my favorite pictures of the two of us taken down in her home in Palm Coast, Florida. She was a avid reader. She enjoyed traveling. She had a rough go of it. About 5 years ago, she said to me, all my friends are dead and dying. And I said, well, Ma, why don't you move to Baton Rouge? Nah, I don't want to. And I said, well, it would really make my life easier. So anyway, she had a good life, and as I said, she put up with me admirably. But as I said, it's been a heck of a week in our house. So anyway, there you go. So I know Steve is here, Steve Schneider from WAFB, and I didn't tell him about any of this ahead of time, so he's sitting there sort of with amazement. But like my mom, always had a good sense of humor. I tried to keep mine about all this. And
I knew there was a reason I liked you. I never really knew what it was, but now I see what it was.
Because I had a nice
mom.
You
had a great mom.
And you met my mom, I think,
of course,
back in the day.
Of course.
Okay, we got a couple more segments with Steve. It's Sports 225. I'm Lee Feinswog, and we'll be right back.